Good morning to day 29. I'm going to take a few minutes to settle in because I just rushed in after walking with the dog. I was a little late, so. Okay, good morning. Day 29 over 99 days. I'm not sure you're going to like me after this one. Oh, haha. Sorry, guys. I thought something was missing. I don't know if you understood me before. I don't know how the microphone of the laptop is. Anyway, good morning again, third time. Day 29, 99 days. And I was just going to say, I'm not sure if you're going to like me after this session. I'm not even sure if you're going to stay with me after this session. Because I want to be very clear and very honest and very direct. And I'm going to do this now because I think I have given you enough different perspectives, different insights, things you can contemplate about, things you might not even agree with. So it might frustrate you, or you simply just don't agree because you have a different belief system, which is still very important to you. Or you simply don't believe it because you know it's different. Whatever it is, doesn't really matter. I've given you enough by now to be very, very, very honest with yourself. Is what is it change I would like to make in these 99 days for myself? What is it that really makes me feel epic after these 99 days? And so fucking proud of myself that I'm so thrilled I've done these 99 days because life has really changed for me. I really, really want you to think about this question. And I will give you about a week. And we'll come back to this question next week or next weekend. And I hope by then you have a really clear answer of what it is you want to work on. What it is you want to see change. Is it your overactive mind that keeps bothering you? Then work on the mind. If it's a lack belief that holds you back in any decision in life, then work on the lack belief. If you're in so much pain, but you can't find an opening to release it, then work on that. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be huge. It doesn't have to be life-changing in the perspective of other people. But it will be life-changing for you. If you don't take a challenge, if you don't define the change you would like to see, the desire I talked about yesterday, the heartfelt desire, if you don't make steps towards that direction, then nothing will change. And I've named this session No Pain, No Change because you have to go through the pains. Even if it's very shortly, very briefly, even if it's just like, ouch, and then there's this insight and release immediately. It can be very quick and it can take very long. And I have a selfish reason, perhaps. It's not really selfish, but I'm in this 99 days with you because I have my heart desire to design a program which gives the right pointers, the right insights at the right moment, with the right message to change lives for many people. That's my heart desire. To lift this frequency on this earth for as many people as I can reach. So I need your help in this. I need you to be very, very direct with me. If you don't understand a thing, if you feel stuck with a thing, if you feel stuck with a message I've shared, if you just don't know how to move on, and some of you have reached out to me, and I can't solve it for you, but challenge me. Challenge me to refine things. Challenge me to repeat things. Challenge me to, well, whatever it is, doesn't really matter. Challenge me to give me the right pointers that makes a change for you. And I really want you to do this in 99 days because it took me a mere 7 years altogether to get where I am now. And it doesn't need to be this long. Honestly, it doesn't need to be this long. Because actually, it can be done like this. Because you're a presence. If you can get rid of all your belief systems in one go if you're willing to do that. I know it doesn't work like that. I mean, I've tried. Because we are run by an operating system of which 95 to 99% is just unconscious patterning. So it's really, really difficult to become aware of all these unconscious patternings. Belief system, lack belief system, interpretations, everything you do. Everything you assume to be true. Everything you hold on to in the past as a truth. So it prevents you from moving further. All those things I talked about is showing up in your life unconsciously. And because we're already in this together for nearly 30 days, you've already lowered down from the 99% unconscious behavior and feelings to hopefully towards the 95%. But how conscious can you become of what you're feeling, what you're thinking, what you're doing? Because if you're conscious about it, you can change it. If you're not conscious about it, you cannot change it. It just keeps coming up because it's in your system. It's literally programmed there. It's programmed by your parents, by your siblings, by your teachers, by society, by news, by media, by movies, anything. We're all just programmed. And we can't get rid of every program. Almost. None of us can. But we can become really aware of these programs. And becoming aware of it gives you the opportunity to decide, do I like this program or do I want to change it? Do I want to override it with another program? And honestly, you can become a full awakened being within 30 days, within 60 days, within 90 days, within even one day. You don't have to become a full awakened being. I am already will be so happy for you if something fundamentally changes in your life that moves you towards your heart desire, that moves you to becoming an empowered being. What is that? What are the first steps you need to take towards that desired being? Do you have it clear what your desired being is? Your desired heart wish? If you don't have it clear, why don't you have it clear? What's the question that lies there? Ask it in a group. Perhaps other people can give clarity or can ask you questions back. Sometimes just a good phrased question can help you ready to get something more clear. But if your heartfelt desire is not clear, what thoughts are you so caught up in? What belief systems are you so caught up in that you cannot connect to a heartfelt desire? A heartfelt desire doesn't have to be all at once, just one. One that's really true to you, you really would like to see changed in your life. One you might even think of which is unreachable. And if you blame the circumstances, then first accept the circumstances. And from that base point, see what you can change. There's always a change possible. Always. And I've said it before, if I could give you the pill to change your life in a split second, I would give it. I would design the pill. And I think many with me would design the pill. And there is actually a pill. There is an imaginary pill. That's the willingness to do this. Pure willingness, pure inner drive. I do want to do this. I do want to see this change. I'm fed up with this in my life. I want to see it changed. I don't know how the change looks like, but I do know what I'm fed up with. Start there. Find something you don't like to see happening in your life. And feel what comes up immediately. Why you cannot change that. Why it is there, holding you back. You really, really need this inner passion. You need this drive. And if I have not inspired you enough, then challenge me how to inspire you more. Or leave the group. I'm okay with that. In the beginning, when I started these 99 days, I would have already been happy if a small amount of people would have endured these 99 days, and then hopefully something would have changed. That doesn't make me happy anymore. I want to see a fundamental change in each and every one of you, not for myself, but for you. Honestly, not for myself, but for you. And the only reason I want it for myself is because I can take that knowledge and that insight and those pointers, I can take it with me and reach many other people's lives. Because life right now is for many, many people heavy on earth. Even if your life is good, even if you have a healthy, prosperous, secure life, then still life can feel heavy. And still the news is intense. And still what's happening on earth is intense. And still you're frustrated because you don't know how to change it. Or still you're stuck in a relationship that you don't really like. Or the way it is you don't really like, but you don't know how to change it. And it starts with an inner drive. And it starts with an absolute convincing belief that you're worth it. Even if you don't feel it yet, but do you believe that you're worth the change? Do you really believe that? Because that's where it starts. You first have to change for yourself. First, it's a very selfish process. Honestly, it is. Anyone who went through spiritual path did it for himself. It is about self-realization first, then the second level, and it goes parallel, but the other side of it is self-empowerment. And then in self-empowerment, you share yourself with the world. You can be at service to others. But if you cannot be at service to yourself in a very unconditional, loving way, you can never serve others that well. Of course, you can do partly. But if you're interested in this journey, because that's why you signed up for these 99 days, and that's why you're sitting here already for 29 days, then you feel there's something else that makes it more profound. And the first phase is selfish. Just be selfish. Don't spend a lot of time with people who draw your energy, who pull you down. Don't do that right now. Avoid it a little. Be selfish in that for a while. Consciously selfish. Because right now you need to embrace yourself, to love yourself, to do things that feel good for you, that makes you feel better. Find people who will give you that feeling. Because it helps to lift your frequency by finding people who can lift your frequency, or at least have the same frequency as you. And when people around you pull you down, and you're already in a phase of like, I'm not sure how this goes, and I'm not really seeing any change, and then it's so easily to fall back in old patterns. Or to lose the drive. Or to have your belief systems confirmed, like, you see, nothing is changing. And I understand why you're not sharing a lot in the group, because the group is not reacting. Not really reacting. Very politely. Um, and as no one is reacting, I'm reacting because I want to encourage people to post. But honestly, I don't think it's up to me to react. Unless you have a direct question to me. But it helps. If you're in this together, to share, it really helps. And somehow, being in communities with less Dutch people and more other um, people from other nationalities. Somehow, those communities are more open and more easy on sharing, especially the Americans somehow. Weirdly enough, because you would say they are more superficial, if I can just label it. But the Americans also have this fearlessness inside, like they want something for themselves, they go and get it. Also this kind of selfishness, like, okay, I want to grow, so help me. And they have a willingness to put themselves out there, to ask for feedback. Or you simply don't believe that sharing will help. That's fine too. But sometimes even you don't believe in it. And if you don't have any fear of sharing, then you might help someone else in the group to open up, who has a fear of sharing but who desperately wants it. And I never said that anything I shared is an absolute truth, so challenge me. If you don't believe something, don't walk away. Don't ignore it. Don't say, well, that's nothing for me. Just open up and challenge me. And it might make me uncomfortable, probably will, but that's okay. That's my thing. You don't have to spare me because I just shared you my heart desire. I want to find these pointers. I want to be very clear on it. And I know it can be really, really frustrating if you can't even feel your heart desire. Well, how does that make you feel? I knew I had it. And you need this pain. You need to feel this pain that you've ignored yourself, your deeper inner self for so long. Because that's what it is. If you can't feel a heart desire, then you ignored yourself. If you don't have a dream, that really feels like, that shakes your frequency, like it's like almost, I don't know, such an epic idea. If I could only be that, or become that, or experience that. And the heart desire is not a frequency of the mind. It's a frequency of the heart. At least it's nothing to do with the mind. It's not created by the mind. It's something that comes from the heart. That's why it's a heartfelt desire. It's your heart telling you what it is you really want. And are you willing to think about or feel into this heartfelt desire? And are you willing to know that you have to go through a phase that's uncomfortable, painful? That you have to make mistakes, at least in your mind it is a mistake. That you have to do trial and error. Are you willing to do that? So if you're not willing to do it, drop it, let it go, like I said yesterday. Don't spend a single amount of thought on it. So going through these processes and what I'm sharing today and the questions I'm asking, be very, very aware of what your mind is telling you. The first thing to come up, because that's probably and most likely what holds you back. And it can be a very rationalizing thing, like confirming that your current status is good enough. Or that you have to hold on to this for another couple of years because then I can change things. Don't believe that. You can change it now. You can change your perspective on it. You can change your feeling on it. You can change how you deal with life. I mean, you could say in my life that lots has changed from the outside, but at the same time, in my perspective, nothing has changed so much. But my inner self, how I feel things, how I go through life, how I meet people, that has changed. And it's far from perfect in my definition of perfection. But it feels so much lighter. And beautiful things happen. Challenging things happen, but it's appearing, it's challenging me. So I can grow. Growth has always been my driver, I think. And I wish for you to be your driver as well. Because that's what moves me forward. Right now, I'm just already with a week of this pain in my throat, and it's still not really leaving my body. So it's frustrating. It's unusual for me to be physically out of balance. So what does it tell me? I know I've lost the discipline on my sport activity for the past 6 weeks. So that could be a very good reason. I'm still too lazy to get up out of the bed early morning. So what do I really want? Do I want to feel better or not? I know it helps, but I also feel the hesitance of the first start again. And the second one is even more harder. And then I mean running or yoga or whatever it is. If you haven't done something for a while, it's always difficult to start up again. I haven't eaten very healthy the last week because I didn't feel like eating. So why did I do that? It is my heart desire to feel very healthy and vibrant and energized. So there must be things in your life. There must be things in your life that you would love to see changed. Must be. Start somewhere. Just don't take life for granted. Don't take your life for granted. Don't take yourself for granted. You have this chance to make a beautiful life. You can make choices. You live in safety. You most likely have enough to eat or enough money to buy food. And the stories you hear about people who make the biggest change are often the ones who comes from the lowest situations. Because they had this inner drive, like they were willing to give up everything because it couldn't be worse than where they're at. So they gave you those beautiful, life-changing stories. That's the real pain that created change for them. But if you look at your own pain, is it painful enough? Perhaps it's not painful enough. Is that the problem? Perhaps the victim state you're in is still not painful enough. Because perhaps you cannot even be aware of how much pain you have. Perhaps you cannot even feel it yet. I understand that's frustrating, especially when I talk so much about it. But pain shows up in many different forms. Anxiety, nervousness, absolute discomfort. It shows up in sudden feelings of stress when you get triggered. Like you have like this life-threatening feeling of stress. It doesn't have to be pain like a physical pain in the body. But it must feel extremely discomfort to you. Very uncomfortable. And do you want to live with that uncomfortability in the next phase of your life? Or do you want to get rid of that uncomfortability within the next 60 days? Choice is yours. So please ask me where I can clarify. Please ask me to repeat something. Please ask me to challenge me on something you just cannot get your head around. Or please just share with me that you just simply don't believe it and why you don't believe it. Please share with me where you're stuck. If you don't want to do it in the group, share it with me personally. Just send me a short message. If that one needs you to go forth, go do that. I'm okay with that. I have time now. I can do that. And like I said, there's this desire within me to find all these detailed pointers. What is it, a message that is the right message? And I know it's different for each and every one of you, but if I have a program of many weeks or many days, I can share different messages to reach as many people as possible. Or to repeat certain messages. And if my calculations are right, or my estimations, it's not a calculation, my estimations are right, Out of the 28 people in this group, I think about maximum of 18, 20 are actively following this. And that's a beautiful amount of people to become more close together, to really support each other. So I thought about perhaps you might like a Q&A, a live Q&A, that we find a day together and a timing so as many of you can join together in one live session, and you can ask me directly or ask each other. But I rejected that thought again because I thought if we cannot share in the group yet, then it will be more difficult in a live Q&A. Questions and answers Q&A. So take the next couple of days to have this one sink in. Listen to it again, of course, if you would like to. And by the end of this week or this weekend, I don't know exactly when. And if I don't, remind me. I will go back to this session. And hopefully by that time you're able to share it, to become more clear of what it is where you're stuck. Of what it is why you don't really want to do it, or what it is why you actually think all the time, it's not for me right now. I'll do it within a couple of years. I just like to listen, and I just like to hear new insights, and it makes me smile, and I think, oh yeah, that's right. And then I move on with my old patterns, and life hasn't changed. That's what happens when you read books on these topics. They're all like, oh wow, oh wow, oh wow, oh wow. And then what? If you don't apply it in your life, nothing changes. It's just an insight. And it can be the first step. It has to be the first step. You need an insight to open up to the next phase of applying it in your life. But you also need to do that phase. You have to apply it into your daily life. You have to feel the insight. It's not enough to understand the insight. It's not even enough to become aware of it. You have to feel it. You have to self-reflect and sense within yourself, holy shit, what does it do to me? If that is to be true, then what does it do to me? And that question brings up a lot in you. Fears, lack beliefs, whatever. I don't have to repeat it again. And then you have stuff to work with. Okay. That's it for today. And I'll see you back tomorrow. Hopefully. Bye.